What is up, blockchain gang? It's Danny Draghi once again, and I'm here to introduce you to a free-to-play to earn mobile open world PvP MMORPG with an emphasis on attack combos, aerial combat, and pet taming. Icarus M Guild War is available on Android, the App Store, and PCs via emulator. It's a remake of Icarus M, first developed by Wemix and released in 2020. Later sold off to Valve, who is now in charge of development and publishing on Wemix Network. After 3 long years and 4 Uno reverse cards, this is what we have to show for it.
Aspelia, a dimensional universe governed by the creator of light and darkness. There, Icarus, the source of all the familiars, was born, and called the Celestial Star. The 13 powerful familiars sat in balance with the universe. The powerful familiars are the source of many things, and the all-knowing creature of God. Those who interact with them will be able to gain great powers. But one day, Icarus lost his 2 wings to the creature of darkness, and became one with the humans living in the Midless continent. After that, the world filled with darkness. The Lord God and the 5th Core came down to Earth and started a war. The once prosperous Ark civilization was in danger of being destroyed by this war. 2 heroes, Apes and Sirius, who symbolized the sun and the moon, appeared and trapped the demon god into the frame with the strength of the seal of the seal. It was around that time that White Dragon Belzeros, the alter ego of Icarus, who fell asleep, appeared. After the demons were sealed, Belzeros spent his eternity defending the seal of the seal. He made the king of the humans protect that seal. But soon, he realized it was a big mistake. The power of the seal caused a huge bloodbath in the kingdom. Then, the demon god began to rise again. He who inherits the spirit of the Acrian! Now, open your eyes again! The time has come to restore Icarus's power to fight the darkness!
The first thing I noticed is how I can freely move around with the digital joystick or W, A, S, and D keys while playing on an emulator, but we won't be doing any of that. This is one of those AFK games where you do worse when manually controlling your character. The only benefit of manual input comes in the form of dodging, which can be spammed if your timing isn't too great, but it will go on a cooldown after 3 consecutive dodges. When killing raid bosses, you'll also get a chance to stun them and go berserk by mashing attack as quickly as possible. After my first awakening, I also gained an ultimate ability that can be activated for massive damage, but that will not happen unless I tap it into existence. There are 6 classes in the game, which are divided into easy, medium, and hard, based upon a player's previous MMO experience. In easy, we have the Ranger, naturally doing tons of damage with her short bow and even shorter health bar. Surprisingly, we also have the Assassin in the easy category as a melee damage dealer with high mobility in place of a conscious or adequate defense. The Gladiator is the tank class, which kicks off our mild difficulty tier, probably because running in a circle is harder than doing nothing at all. Followed by the game's unique support class, the Artist. Her specialty is whipping enemies with a paintbrush while motivating her allies with inspirational adult coloring book patterns, causing them to unleash their inner repressed rage whenever she mentions them. For hard mode, we have a priest who would make any altar boy blush, from healing them with her magic wand obviously. And last but not least is the Wizard, who is a ranged area of effect damage dealer with low defenses. Nothing to get too excited about in the character creator, as it's fairly generic by today's standard, so we blow through it and pick a name describing the terror we are about to strike into the hearts of our enemies upon reading it, only moments before I leap out of the shadows and become their stepfather. This is an MMORPG where you do quests and level up and get gear, and I don't want to bore you with this basic bitch shit, so let's move on to the important stuff. This is an open world PvP game where at any time approximately 50% of the world is trying to kill you for internet points. Real internet points that can be spent at an actual shop. One of many currencies we won't even have time to cover today. But the point is that almost nowhere is safe. Early on in this game, you will be asked to select one of two forces to fight for, the Eps or the Sirius. When you encounter one of the enemy forces in the game, you will have to fight them or run. Conflict can easily be avoided by switching channels, but death will damage your weapon, slightly lowering your DPS with a cap of 5 stacks. I'll get back to that later in the gear section, just be warned, you will die. A lot of times. The level cap is 50, and once you reach that, you can awaken your inner abilities through the main story quest, which resets your level back to 1, and the real grind begins. By comparison, the first 50 levels were a breeze, and could be seen as a tutorial for the rest of the game. There are 3 stages of awakening, for a total of 200 levels if you add them all up. After the first awakening, I can do aerial combat, and a charge up ultimate ability, as well as gaining some additional passive abilities. Each level grants you skill points that can be used on your passive and active abilities. These abilities can be switched out in the skill menu, which affects the type of combos you'll be able to perform. Even though most of your skills cannot be equipped, they will appear on the screen as a mini quick-time event when prerequisite conditions are met. This can lead to some pretty epic combos and cutscene-like camera pans, which are rare in an MMORPG. There are many types of quests in addition to the main story quests, such as Elite, Region, Subquest, and Achievements. There are also completion rewards for grinding monsters and catching familiars. Nearly all monsters and bosses can be tamed to fight for you or let you ride them. Each familiar has an element, and if you equip familiars from the same element, it will boost your resistance to them. So if you're fighting a poison boss, you would counter them with poison familiars to reduce the damage they can inflict on you by boosting that poison resistance. You literally fight fire with fire in this game. Taming normal familiars costs 100 energy, which refills with time or premium currency and results in a timing minigame. In addition to energy, you will need a token for taming higher ranked familiars, which you can gain from premium currency or summons. Many familiars come in a form that can fight with you, a form that can be ridden like a horse, and a form you can fly on, but you can't use them interchangeably. They reach the max level at 30 and can be awakened by enhancing them 5 times with familiar stones. Then they can be promoted and grade from D to SS to increase their power along the way. Unwanted familiars can be sacrificed to gain essence, which can be used to increase your power innately, as well as your emotional link between a specific familiar and yourself. It is also possible to combine 2 unwanted familiars for a chance to gain a higher ranked familiar. There are many types of currency we won't cover, but the main one you get for slaying monsters is DS, or Dragon Scales. DS is also the currency used to generate the game's token Vel, but we'll go over that later. Nearly all in-game progress and crafting require DS. You also have premium currencies Red and Blue Ellen. They are essentially the same thing, but Red Ellen is earned by playing the game, and Blue Ellen is purchased with fiat. Most cosmetics can only be purchased with the blue. We also have force points by killing the opposing force, guild points for being active in your guild, and community points. You gain them by greeting your guildmates when they log on or congratulating them on completing a new achievement or leveling up. One of my favorite features of the game design is an experience race, where you are periodically paired up with a random enemy from the opposing faction and race them to gain experience points. Once the goal is hit, the winner gains double the community points over the loser. This is one of the few things that stood out to me as a novel idea for the genre and actively kept me playing while dictating my endgame decisions. The gear progression in this game is insane, and is likely to induce at least 2 ramps. It goes from white to green to blue to purple to red to gold. 2 whites make a green, and 2 greens make a blue, and so on until you get to purple. Then you'll need 2 purples to get a rank 2 purple, and so on to get a rank 3. And then you'll need another rank 1 and get lucky enough for it to turn into a shiny rank 1 to promote it to red. and then repeat these steps for gold. You also have pay-to-win gear, or Omega gear, purchased from the shop, which is about 50% better than its normal counterpart. You have a small chance to get one of these as well with normal crafting. Each piece of gear can be reinforced up to level 10, with a chance to fail beyond level 10 and damage the equipment. You can also damage your weapon by dying in PvP. Weapons can be repaired with red Ellen or repair crystals, so queue up that first ramp. You see, I just kept crafting new weapons because I couldn't figure out how to repair the old ones. Then I found the ads. Watching ads will grant you repair stones. I know it's stupid, but I thought if you watched an ad, you would get a repair stone. But it must be bugged or something. It turns out that you have to watch 10 ads to get one repair stone, and they all have to be watched in the same day. Then I use the stupid repair stone, and it only repairs 1 out of the 5 stacks of damage to my weapon, leaving it still with a huge reduction to my DPS. So in my mind, the value of watching an ad relative to repairing a weapon went from 1 to 1 to 10 to 1 to 50 to 1 within about 10 minutes of realization, and that is fucking bullshit. I'm done, but it had to be said, damn it. Each piece of gear can also be leveled up to 50 by using proficiency books or grinding monsters. My advice is to save as much money as you can on reinforcing and leveling up gear, because once you're ready to move up, it invalidates all previous progress and becomes a waste. Cue up rant number 2. Why do you do this to me, game? I spend all of my hard-earned ducats on fancy gear with plus 10 reinforcements, and then a better one drops only 5 minutes later. I didn't even need that additional temporary power. If a boss drops a purple dagger, it should be stronger than my blue dagger, even though my blue dagger is fully upgraded. My point is that if I craft a purple dagger from 2 fully upgraded blue daggers, it should be stronger than a random drop from a boss, simply because it was harder to make. It had better ingredients. And unless Papa John has been lying to me these past 20 years, that should make a better pizza. This progress should transfer to beefier stats so that you always carry that progression with you, which gives you mixed emotions. Aw, I got the armor I wanted, but that means the armor I had is now useless, and the 2 hours it took to craft it and upgrade it is wasted. Let me use that beefy, sad piece of armor to make this armor stronger, is all I am saying, so that I feel like the game values my time. Anything you spend on familiars or gear will eventually be invalidated by getting better familiars and gear, so try to invest all into self-progress, which can't be invalidated by better drops. Only when you can't progress your innate stats should you move on to familiars and then gear, since it will be temporary anyway. Gear also has random stats that can be re-rolled for better stats, but be warned that power system is heavily weighted towards life. So if you choose auto-equip, you will always be prioritizing your HP, and this is usually only good if you're a tank. Finally, unused items can be sold for DS or broken down into materials that will also grant instructions on using your weapons better for even more progress. Another point I want to make about monster crystals is that this is nothing new to these games, but as you grind monsters, you farm crystals, and gain stats, the game takes this one step further by allowing you to synthesize your unused boss crystals into crystal essence, for another form of progression, similar to the familiar essence, gear essence, and soul essence. The problem I have with the monster crystals is that in the first 2 areas of the game, every baddie you kill gives you a crystal, and it doesn't take very long to complete them. But once you get to the 3rd area, the drop rate on normal monsters is at 5 to 10%, now taking 10 to 20 times longer than before. This type of hidden artificial scaling only serves to waste time and doesn't add anything to the game itself. It made the process go from exciting to tedious. This type of design also encourages overpowered players to go back to early areas and farm those crystals when they can one-shot the enemies and any innocent victims in their path, and this hurts everybody's gaming experience. The main way to acquire Red Ellen outside of events, login rewards, and maintenance patches is to complete your codex by taming different familiars or gear for the first time. This can be reinvested on taming tokens to help you tame more beasts and complete your collection. We have a slew of daily and weekly achievements as well as half a dozen dungeons or raids we can explore in limited quantities, to time gate progression behind a paywall. We can also spend an hour a day in the halls to grind much faster and a dedicated arena for 1v1 and 3v3 PvP with daily entries. There is also a 3v3 guild and large-scale GVG event where you have to control towers and take down boss monsters and enemies to score points. There are world bosses and much more I was unable to obtain footage for because I am too weak to be in an active guild at this time. All of the characters that are around my level are bots and make it impossible to find parties to raid in, much less for PvP, even though I've exhausted numerous attempts. Part of the reason is that you can only be in matchmaking while you're in a safe area, so you can't wait while simultaneously grinding. When I did find a 1v1 PvP match, the matchmaking was a joke for 3 easy losses in a row. As I mentioned, DS is the main currency of the game. If you buy the token from the market, you can exchange it for 85,000 DS, or a roulette ticket. I bought 10 roulette tickets and instantly regretted it as I rolled almost nothing useful, and they have no pity system. I had assumed each time you win, the prize would get taken off the board until you were sure to win the jackpot, but that is not the case. I got another 10 to convert into DS and spent that quicker than the time it took to sign into the play wallet 7 times to complete the transactions. No issues there, but my main 3 issues are with their model. First, you have to purchase a rainbow scale from the shop for 180,000 DS, and that goes up by 10,000 if you want to convert more than 1 per day for each additional token. That means that you're burning at least 95,000 DS in the process. Then you have to watch 3 ads to gain the white stones to convert the rainbow scale into a token that already cost you double what it's worth. You can also buy a dragon pass for $10 in fiat to avoid the ads, but this requirement on top of the burn is bullshit. At least sell the dragon pass for tokens or something other than this stupid roulette ticket. I would rather have a time skip token with no extra utility than a time skip with a slot machine mechanic bolted on that has nothing to do with the actual game. Finally, the circle needs to be completed by being able to purchase red or blue Ellen with the token or DS in my opinion. The music, sound effects, and balance are all great, while the voice acting is okay, but the written translations could really use an overhaul. Overall, I had fun with my time in the game, but I doubt I will keep playing until I'm relevant enough to take part of the in-game activities such as world bosses and GVG. Only time will tell though. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, Mr. Laser.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
You will be destroyed.
You're going
The
down.
explosion will be of extraordinary magnitude. Just hang on.
It takes a while.